Okay, so I have my coordinate grid. What I could do from here is put this into a collection and put this into a collection so I could show it somewhere. So I'm going to call this collection my collection of tiles. And let's click that button. Okay, my collection is good. So in a traditional app, you can lay out that entire grid inside a gallery, right? A gallery would probably be your go-to place. For our purposes, we're going to use the HTML text control. Now, why am I using an HTML text control? Well, this gives you a lot more performance back. So the way a gallery works is if I were to show, let me just make a point here. If I were to show that same table inside this gallery, let me build this real fast. Collection of tiles. If I were to show this table of tiles inside a gallery, I am generating a control for every single one of those pictures. And galleries are nice, but they're not needed here. I would use a gallery if I needed a control so that I can click and do something with it. That's where I would use a gallery. I need to click something. But for our purposes, I don't need to click this tile. Because I'm going to use either touch controls, the D-pad on the side, or I'm going to use keyboard controls. I don't need to click on the screen. So what I can do here is a function called concat. Concat will type something for every value of a table. So it takes a table. For every part of that table, it's going to type something. So I'll start with some basic HTML here. Let's type a word. Hello world. Okay. So concat's going to repeat something for me. In this case, I had it repeat hello world. What do I really want it to do, though? I want it to repeat this tile. So a couple things here that you may be thinking of. How do I repeat that tile in the correct spot? How do I do that? We're going to need to know the actual coordinates of where to put it. So a little bit of information here about HTML. Let's go to the finished. App. I go to my debug panel. Take a peek at the working code here. I have the same thing here. This is what the finished thing looks like. Here's what I've finished so far. I've generated a table of X and Y coordinates. What I need next is the coordinates. Well, the way HTML works is a picture needs a top value. That's how high from the top of the HTML text do I place the image. And it has a left value. So how far from the left side of the HTML text control do I lay out a picture? It's kind of like X and Y coordinates. I'm glad that HTML calls it top and left, because you would confuse it with the X and Y of the table. So we're going to need to calculate that. And it's going to work a little bit differently than a table. I also assign an ID. This is really the Z coordinate. Why don't we take care of the Z coordinate now? Let's do that now. Okay, So let's take care of the z coordinate real fast. So going back to this app, now that I have my x and y coordinates, the z coordinate is more of a z index. I'm incorrect in calling it a z coordinate because I'm really giving a different depth to each tile so that one has the ability to overlap another. Okay, so I'm going to call this the ID. Now the way I calculate an ID is I start with its y value. So y, the first row, I'm going to make it the 0th row. So I do that by subtracting 1. So for row 1, I subtract 1, and then I get 0. For row 2, it's really 2 minus 1, which is 1. I multiply that by the amount inside a row, in my case 10. So in one row, there would be 10 things. So I get to the 10th row, it starts at number 90, because it's 10 minus 1, which is 9 times 10 is 90. And then I add whatever the x value is. So what you end up with is, let me preview this real fast. It counts from 1, I end up getting the numbers from 1 to 100 with no repeats. Okay, so they're really on their own z plane. The higher the ID, the more on top it is. Okay, so I have that. Let's go back to our finished one. If you'd like to see more videos, please like and subscribe.